Sad, sad day. It has come far too soon. Oh, what are we gonna do without Telon in our lives? You were a shining beacon. Now your light has dimmed. Sent to the graveyard way before your time. We shall remember you, our good, good friend. Many days and nights of sorrow and grand adventure did you give us. We will never forget all the friends you brought into our lives, all the challenges you set before us. Some we met, and some that defeated us. And yet through it all, we were entertained. Friendships were born, loves were found, and we all have you to thank for it, Vanguard. Though your time is coming to an end, know that you did touch many, many lives. Made us better people. And we are thankful.
From the mind of Keith Parkinson, the master of fantasy art, comes the new frontier of online gaming. Embark on a journey that's never been taken. Battle an enemy that's never been conquered. Seek adventures that have never been experienced. Discover the beauty. Seek the challenge. Find the truth. Will you accept your fate? Or will you alter your destiny? The new world awaits. Vanguard, Saga of Heroes.
Set yourself free. Ah, boy, those two videos bring back memories. Just get you in the mood to play. Ah, how am I ever going to miss this game, boy? We all knew that eventually SOE was going to shut down the game, but wow, it still came as a surprise, especially considering how much they were actually finally starting to make progress on the game. They seemed like they had a dedicated team. I went to SOE Live the last 2 years in Vegas. And the first year, it was about 5 or 6 of us. Real small, very, very, very small group. Boy, that's kind of loud. And then last year, there was a whole bunch of people. And wow, green screen. Kind of messing up today. And yeah, I don't know. It was like almost right after SOE Live last year, they fired a bunch of people. And I don't know why my green screen is screwing up today. And then, yeah, then they made that announcement later on that they were shutting down over half their games. How much to the end? Let's see, it's noonish here, and I believe it's going to shut down at 8 p.m. my time, so we got several hours yet. I'm going to be going through all the classes and all the races, showing that off, and getting into some of my characters, showing off some of the stuff in there, and let me check the volume. Hold on 1 second. Ah, that's why. I had the volume turned up. Turn that down just a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to be showing off some of the unique characteristics of some of the classes, show the character creation process, and then yeah, we're going to get in and explore the game. And at around 3 p.m. my time, we're going to head over to New Targanor. There was supposed to have been a party that was going on at the docks there. And then if nobody shows up for that, hopefully people will show up for the party I announced. We're going to head from New Targ over to Kalia. And then we're going to head down to the port city of Agram. We're going to try and set up a whole bunch of boats. Hopefully a lot of people are going to show up that have galleons. I want to like clog the river with as many boats as we can. Just have the hugest barge party ever. So, Zazadoria, do you play Vanguard? Or had you played Vanguard in the past? Feel free to jump in and join me. I guess, you know, there's not a lot of people watching, but I guess I'll just act like there's a lot of people watching, because I'm planning on putting this video up on YouTube anyway. So I guess we'll just go into character creation. Show it off. There's...
Oh. Hear what she says? I'm not your daddy.
And I salute you, Zazadoria. Thanks for hitting that follow button. Greatly appreciate the support. So as you can see, there's a crap ton of races and classes in the game. Broken down by the continents over here. There's 3 main continents. Vestra has 7. The rest have 6. And I thought that the classes were... I thought that some races couldn't be certain classes, but it looked like they changed that at some point. It looks like all the races can be all the classes. Didn't realize that. That's awesome. So, and Thestra, you have your regular roundabout humans, dwarves, halflings, high elves, the Volmane, very cool wolf race that's got a real Native American feel to their zone. The Varanjar, which is one of the, I think they're one of the giant type. I think they're one of the taller races. And then you got the lesser giants, which is like half giant, half human race. You know, Kojin, which is the Asian Oriental continent. The Thestran is your more European classic fantasy staple continent. Kojin is your Asian themed. You got the Kojani humans, you got your Asian humans. Wood elves, very cool city. They have their they got like a tree city. And half elves, hybrid of Kojani and Wood elf. Got the orcs, one of my favorite races. The main character I played was an orc goblin, which that sound file that we just heard when Zazadoria hit that follow button comes from one of the male goblin NPCs. The Rocky, another fun race. Little fox people, which are actually aliens. They're not native to the world. They came and crashed onto Telon in some floating cities. And I don't remember the full story about why they fled their homeland. And Kalia is your Arabian Nights desert-themed continent. You have the Kalathari humans, the gnomes. They closed off the gnome city. There was some storyline that they never really finished. There was some invasion going on or something, and you can't go to the gnome city anymore. It's very sad. They had a really cool starter zone. The Dark Elves. The Dark Elves, really cool roleplay race if you like to roleplay, because they're destined to rule the world and enslave all others. The Dark Elves must hurdle one last obstacle, though, of their own kind. So yeah, there's a whole storyline with them in their starter zone where you're like a slave and you have to go through this test. They test your blood, and if you're weak-blooded, then you're gonna get sacrificed. You're gonna get murdered. Only the people with the purest blood get to survive the Dark Elf society. They're supposed to be a descendant from one of the gods, which is a dragon, and they're destined to rule the world. You found out your IQ result when you were 7 years old? Okay, Panda. And then the next race is the Karasha. Dang, I can't pronounce that. But they're cat race. They're another race that's not native to the planet. They have these little symbiote worms, kind of like the Goa'uld from Stargate. I think they got a symbiotic bond with this. In the game, they only like worms. They're more like jellies, kind of oozes type thing. And they're like really freaky storyline going in there. And actually, I think they're actually like an evil race. Like the cats themselves are cool, but the symbiotes like evil. Some of the stuff going on with them when you start digging into the history, yeah, a little worried about them. And the Mordabi, another human race, and the Varanthari. I think they're related to these guys. One of these is like sea people. something like that. But yeah, so that's a whole bunch of player classes and player races there. And I think we have to pick a starter zone before we can customize. Because I was looking at this earlier and it wouldn't let me customize them. But then, okay, the classes broken into 4 categories. You got your defensive, protective fighters, the offensive DPS fighters, healers, and casters. You got basic warrior, paladin, dread knight. They use a lot of fear. They got a cool teleport spell where they can teleport behind the opponent and do backstab type damage, kind of like a thief. Ranger, and a pet class. Your rogues, thieves, as I just said. Monks, really cool DPS kung fu fighters. Very realistic kung fu animations with them. Bard is a unique hybrid class. You actually design your own spells and play them. So you're basically making your own abilities, and it's all sorts of buffs. You can do all sorts of run speed stuff, heals, CC. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do with the Bard. But it's a really technical class. It takes a lot of skill. Well, more skill than normal. Cleric. It's kind of your beefy, tanky healer. Real close to the paladin, just more heals based. Shamans. Oh man, I love the shamans in this game. Shamans are broken into 3 or 4 categories. Once you get like level 15, you go on a quest to pick your totem. You can be either the bearish totem, which is more of a tank build, the wolf, which is more of a rogue build. You have some stealth abilities and some DPS damage capabilities, and the Hyatet, the Phoenix Shaman, which is the main one I picked, and that's like your caster nukem DPS, and a lot of fire-based spells and heals. Disciple, another really cool, unique hybrid class. You're like a mixture between the monk and the healer. You're doing all sorts of crazy kung fu moves, and in the process of kicking people in the face, you're healing yourself and your party members. Blood Mage, another unique, really cool healer class. You're like it says, you're dealing with blood. You're siphoning out the life essence of your enemies and giving it to yourself and your friends, and you can craft things, little worms that does different buffs. Like while you're attacking, you can try to harvest organs and materials from the person you're fighting and use it to craft these little symbiotic worms that you can give yourself buffs with, or people in your party. And you got your sorcerer. Then the sorcerer is like one of the highest DPS classes in the game, at least it used to be. Druid, really cool nature-based caster. Some really fun spells there. Psionist, a lot of CC. It was probably the best CC class in the game. There's all sorts of crowd control stuff you can do, and just really screwing with the mobs' minds. And the Necromancer, another pet class, which you're raising the undead, and you're all sorts of different pets that you can get as you level up. But you can your abomination, I think it is called. It actually has slots on it where you can like gear it up. You craft different things that you find. It's kind of like the Blood Mage, and while you're attacking the mob, I think you can hit something and try to harvest stuff from them, and then you can use that to upgrade your pet. And then there's there was a quest later on in your leveling process where you could basically become a lich. And there's two different ways you could go with it. You could go straight skeletal lich form, and then there was like a ghostly, ethereal form that you could go. And then they got rid of the quest, or changed up the quest. And instead of having to make a choice one way or the other, then it was just stances. So you basically got both of them, depending on what you wanted. And in what stance you were in, changed what type of minions you could summon, other than your abomination. And yeah, well, I don't know, we'll just pick something. I'm not going to go through all of these and show all the character customization stuff. We'll just name him Test Bro. Hit next. So you get now you get the choice of going to the Isle of Dawn starter zone or your original hometown. They got rid of a lot of the hometown areas, starter zones. They said the world was too big and there was too many starter zones, and it took people too long to find their friends. So they made this little island, and so everybody gets put there, but they didn't really do a good storyline of telling you why your character's there. But the quests and everything were better done on the Isle of Dawn, so it gave you new people a really good sense of the game and how to play. But there were some really cool stories, especially for the orc in their hometown, the original zone. And the game originally, when it first came out, had faction. I mean, you had to earn your ability to go to some of the other races. Like, not everybody liked each other. So, like with the orcs are constantly raiding the Kojani humans. They're on a bunch of islands, and their land spaces at a premium. And so everyone's fighting for resources. So the orcs were always raiding the other races, especially the Kojani. And if you wanted to go hang out with your bro who was playing a Kojani, you had to do a lot of grinding mobs that the Kojani didn't like to get your favor up with them before they wouldn't attack you on sight. And just getting to the Kojani area was a feat. It was really special if you were level 10 doing quests and you looked over and you saw a level 10 orc in that area, because they had to travel a long way and do a lot of stuff to get to that point. But so we're just gonna choose the Isle of Dawn. Oh, that name's already taken. Wow. Okay. Doriana. If that's taken. Okay. So there's all these categories for customization. I mean, you can, and there's not as many customization options as there used to be. They got rid of some of the bone structure in the game, so you could have helmets. When the game first came out, there was no helmets in the game. And there was too many bones for all the different races in the game. You know, you had all these animal races with big long snouts, so they had to go through a lot of work to make it where the helmets would look right for all the races without having to make 15 million different types of each item. I guess we zoom in on there. Lots, some really freaky choices, but yeah. You can tell that the Kojin Islands, Asian based. Their hairstyles. Every imaginable color. I wish these had like arrows instead of just a slider. It's really hard to fine tune your colors. And this is just basic starter clothing. It doesn't really matter much. You get rid of it really quick. And mood. I don't know if you can see that. Is it even changing anything? It used to make him smile or squint. So yeah, just a whole bunch of freaking choices. And you hit finish, and you go on to the aisle. Let's see, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna show off some of this. This is my disciple, my dwarven paladin. We got a goblin shaman. I think this guy's a bear shaman. Zundala, my necromancer. Like I said, necromancers are really fun to play. And Xanaros, my rogue. Rogues are really cool. They got the normal backstab, stealthy type stuff. These guys, you can also pick people's pocket, sneak up behind them, and pick the mob's pocket. And you get all sorts of cool stuff. But you also get something called lint, and you get enough lint. It's actually a crafting thing. There's a crafting menu. Some of the races, like Ranger, can do this too, and they have a special crafting thing where they can do stuff. And with the lint, you can I think there was a book, and a very small chance of the book dropping. And then once you got the book, you could learn to craft things with the lint, and basically like bandages. And they were really good bandages, really good healing. Kind of like healing potions, but it's bandages. Hey, Age of Myth, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. And with the Ranger, they have a forage ability that you can pick up a whole bunch of stuff, and then you could use stuff that you got from the forage ability to go into that special crafting menu, and you could make your own arrows. You didn't have to buy arrows. Or you didn't have to craft arrows with the actual crafting. Although there's some really cool bonuses you can get on the crafting if you crafted arrows. This is my monk. This is my blood mage. I didn't really play this guy much as a blood mage. I used him mainly as a crafter. I made him a carpenter. He was my boat builder, which is another awesome thing about Vanguard is the crafting system. The crafting system was super in-depth. And we'll show off some harvesting and some crafting a little bit later on. But that's one of the main reasons why I got into the game, is because you could craft boats all the way, anything from little sloops all the way up to big Spanish galleon boats. And it's so much fun just to boat around. There's no instances in the game. There's zones, so there's chunks that you zone into and out of. But just pretty much game's wide open. So if you can see it, you can get to it one way or another. This is my druid character. This is my bard, and we'll get in here and show off the bards, show how you can craft your own spells and all the cool stuff they can do. And it takes kind of a lot of skill to play this, guys. I never did get into playing the bard. I used him mostly to do the diplomacy stuff. And this is my main guy, my orc shaman, the Hyatet Phoenix shaman. And it's the character we just made. But yeah, so there's 3 ways of playing the game. Each their own separate game just a bit. Just about. You got adventuring, which is what we're looking at here. Crafting. Crafting had its own quests. I mean, if you didn't want to do any adventuring, you could almost not do any adventuring. Like I said, my blood mage, I only got him up to level 20 before I said, I'm tired of playing him. I'm not tired of venturing him. It got a little, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling the blood mage play style. So I just crafted with him. I got him up to like 45, almost 50. I think we'll see when we log in with him. And we got him up pretty high in crafting. And on crafting, there's a sub-sphere. They call the 3 areas spheres. There's a sub-sphere associated with crafting that everybody could do, which is harvesting. And harvesting was really unique in Vanguard because you could group up and harvest. Hey, Para. And you actually had a better chance of getting rare drops and more drops from your harvesting if you were in a group. And harvesting trees in Vanguard is probably the coolest thing to harvest because the trees would shake when you hit them with the axe and they would actually fall. So like one of the first games, remember this came out in like 2007, I think. It was one of the first games I ever heard of where you could be running around, you could see a tree fall in the distance, and okay, there's some players over there harvesting. And let's see, so then there's diplomacy. Oh yeah, group harvesting was the best. Then there's diplomacy. Diplomacy is its own separate card game. It was like one of the best and main ways to learn the lore of the game. It was the beta websites went down and they had a lot of the lore that was posted about the game, and you really didn't get a real good sense of the lore playing the quest lines. And there were some there, but not a lot. You really had to dig and look around to find the lore. But if you did diplomacy and you got real good with the card game and beat the mobs and do the quests, and there's all sorts of quests with the diplomacy, you started to learn a lot about what's going on in the background with all the races and the different continents. Each continent had like its own little thing, its own separate storyline going on. And diplomacy was really, really fun. And we'll get in and probably do some of that in a little bit. But first, so I can show this off since I got it set out. This right here is the collector's edition of the game. This is what I got when it first came out. And you see, I went to SOE Live. I got a lot of people that worked on it to autograph it. And it came with this. I still got the freaking thing that came on the background of it, and it talks about the game. You can see. This box, I mean, I know the game is dying today, but if you see one of these somewhere, go ahead and pick it up. If nothing else, it's got the cool art on the outside of it. But this makes a really good box for storing, whatever you want to, because it has leather on the inside. You can get this for $19 or cheaper, probably somewhere. And I mean, it's an awesome box. It's a cardboard, whatever box on the outside, but it's got that leather lining on that suede leather lining on the inside. Awesome. Yes, it has a cloth map, but this that's in here, I'm not going to unfold it because it's too freaking big. But last year at SOE Live, I won the silent auction. They were auctioning off all the banners that were inside the banquet hall. These big, huge banners for all their games. And I won the banner for Vanguard Saga of Heroes. And that's folded up in there because I was going to send this off and get Brad McQuaid to autograph it along with a bunch of other people. But they fired him and some of the other devs that I met and got to be really good buds with at SOE Live. They fired him like right after SWE Live last year, so still waiting to get that autographed. And inside, what was actually inside the box, you know, your normal instruction manual, had this cool card in here. This is one of the 3 characters on the outside of the box, one for each continent. And the guy on there is supposed to have been like the prince of the humans. This person, she's supposed to be like some big diplomat from Kalia, and then the other is a wood elf that's supposed to be a crafter. And with the collector's edition, one of the things you got was a statue that you could put inside your house or your guild hall. And if you was in a guild, it would give everybody in your guild a buff, and there was one for each of the 3 characters on the outside. The diplomacy person here, we gave you a diplomacy buff. The guy, I can't remember his name, he gave you an adventuring buff. And then the wood elf chick, she gave you a crafting buff. And I think I actually got the crafting buff one. But this card is kind of cool because it has your code on there for the collector's edition items. But then it gives you a little background blurb about the Kalia chick, whose name is Idara. And SOE actually has a costume for Idara, and I'm butchering her name. And they usually have some hot-looking girl dressed up in the costume at SOE Live, which I got my picture made with her last year. And then it has your paper map. And do it without tearing it up. Hasn't been unfolded in forever. You got your map of the world. And yes, like you asked, Age of Myth, it does have a cloth map, and I should have got it, but I didn't have the stuff that was in the box with me when I went to SOE Live for the first time. I took it out so it wouldn't get destroyed in car ride. And they were usually auctioning off autographed cloth maps at SOE Live. I don't know if they got any left. May. And then probably the coolest thing that was in the collector's edition, especially if you're a Keith Parkinson fan, because he was the head artist on Vanguard Saga Heroes, it came with a art book. Showed off all sorts of cool concept art and stuff that was in the game. There's one of the people on it. May talk about those 3. Really cool stuff. And it also came with a soundtrack, which I didn't pull that out, but it didn't have all of the tracks that was in the game, but it had a real nice collection of the music. But yeah, look for that. If you don't have one, look for it. It's really cheap. Like I said, the art book and the leather box itself is well worth owning. So let's see, what are we gonna do first? Let's look at the disciple. I wanted to show off some of the combat stuff with the disciple, if it'll log me in. Don't tell me the games went down already. Sat here at the character screen too long, maybe. Can we log in with anybody? Okay, let me log in with him. I'm inside my pit. My pit's inside me. So I guess we'll start out with this guy. I wanted to end with him, so because he's gonna be the main guy we run around with. Like I said, I'm a Hayatet Phoenix Shaman with this guy. I have a Phoenix pet. He has his own little abilities here. Best ability here ever. Do I use Origins? What, you mean the EA thing? Yeah, I have the EA Origins thing installed because you have to play any of their games. But this is probably one of the best freaking abilities ever. You just summon a rainstorm of fire. Just fire raindrops fall from the sky. Big AoE. Oh, I love nuking people with this guy. But yeah, I'm outside my guild's guild hall. That's one of the cool things with Vanguard. This is someone's house. Player housing is not instance. It's out in the game world. Anyone can come up, and if you don't have your door locked, they can click on your door and they can go inside your house and they can rearrange all your stuff if you don't have it set. I have no idea whose house is this. This is Magnaman's house. If he doesn't have it locked, you can look at his stuff. I can take all of his stuff. Look at that. Oh, I don't have permission to take it. I can look at it, but I can't take it. People used to troll people. You go, oh, you got a party going on? Cool. I'll be over there eventually. Like I said, I want people to meet up in Agram by 6 p.m. So we can have that boat party. Yeah, people used to troll people really hard in the game if they didn't lock their house. There's a fish. You could there's a housing vendor, and for some reason you could buy fish, and it looks like a little fish, and they're real cheap. So people would fill up people's houses with fish. They'd come in, there'd just be fish on the floor, fish on the wall, fish everywhere. Hey Agil, no, this is Vanguard Saga of Heroes. So yeah, it was really funny to come in and see your house filled up with fish. And usually people would send you a in-game mail message and saying, hey, saw your house, it was really coolly decorated, I left you a present, hope you enjoy. And then you knew you just got fished. But this is my guild's guild hall. This was crafted by everybody in my guild. For the guild halls, there's a whole lot of stuff you have to do. It's not a simple process. Not that the other houses is simple to craft either, but okay. Somebody rearranged. We must not have our stuff locked. Somebody went in and rearranged all of our furniture. Just put it out in the hallway. Okie dokie did. Unless the game, since it's ending, unless they reset the permissions and people didn't know it. So yeah, someone's trolled us hard with our furniture. Oh wow, they're giving away The Sims too. Awesome. Yeah, they do that a lot. They give away all sorts of stuff all the time. Yeah. Here's one of the statues that gives the guild buffs. So yeah, someone's gone in and completely rearranged all of our stuff. We kind of had it somewhat decorated there. Here's the other two guild statues. People usually use this room as like a tavern. I've seen someone build a stage with microphones and drums. There's some really cool and unique ways to interact with the furniture that wasn't ways that it wasn't meant to be used as, and so you could craft some really cool stuff. I've seen people make bathrooms with hot tubs and all sorts of other stuff that, you know, there's not that stuff craftable in the game. But people being creative with what's available, because you could sink stuff into the wall and layer it, overlap it on top of each other, so you couldn't see what it was originally supposed to be. Make other stuff. See, there's no other room up in here. You know what, bird? We're gonna unsummon you. I think this is unsummon it. No. Oh, there. Dismiss. Yeah. Rest in peace, Slappy. Slappy was cool. I never did get me a Slappy whistle. I kind of wish I had. It was really cool to be able to summon Slappy and make everybody dance. As you can see, this is just one of the styles of guild halls. This is the Thestran, the European fantasy-based guild hall. Then you have the Asian-themed Kojani guild hall and the Kalian. That is the Arabian Night style guild hall. Each of them look different. Have pretty much the same amount of rooms. They're just laid out differently. This would make an awesome chapel. I just look at this and I see chapel. Goes out into here. And you can see there's a lot of rooms, a lot of ways to customize and make some interesting personalized houses. Storage sheds over here. Kind of a shame that something happened to all of our furniture. Someone went cuckoo rearranging. All of this stuff. Ooh. Enchanted horseshoes. That must not steal stuff out of the chest. We're not going to be able to use it anyway. So yeah, that's the guild hall. Let's log out and do what we were gonna do. We'll come back to this guy because we're gonna use him to fly around and see as much as the game world as we can before it's time to go to the party. So let's see. Try this guy. And one of the reasons why I wanted to start with him is I got him parked outside my house. So, my house. See, the guild hall was over here on Vestra. My house is all the way over here, which is like some ruined city. The remains of some ancient civilization. And I'm all the way out here for some reason. I like the Kalian style houses. I think I actually prefer the Kalian guild halls too, but the guild, they wanted a different house. I got some decorating going on in here, not as much as I wanted to. I never got around to... I've had several houses throughout the life cycle of this game, and I usually have them decorated, but never got around to it this time. This is the statue I got from the Collector's Edition, the crafting one. chest up in here with a whole bunch of crafting mats in them. Which is like the main reason people had houses, just to load up all their crafting supplies for their crafters. So as you can see, I think this is the largest style house you can make with the Kalian style. Really cool architecture. But we're going to recall someplace else and do some combat, which I'm probably gonna suck at. But like I said, this class is a hybrid healer. It heals while you're kicking people in the face, which I always thought that was the coolest thing ever. See if we can't find. So you got two stances with this guy. One's the all-out attack, basically, and one's got more of a dodging to it. Let's see if we can kick something in the face. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't challenging enough. So this is one of the trees you can cut down, harvesting. Where are we? Find something worthy of a good beating. Something that's not going to go down in a couple of hits. There's some giants. Oh, crossing the chunk line. Like I said, there's no instances in the game. It's just built by these big chunk zones, and there's a little bit of a hiccup as the game loads the new zone across the line. Okay, 3 dots. This ought to be a little bit of a challenge. Level 20. Much of a challenge. So when you crit, basically one of these things, or if you dodge or something, one of these things will light up. And if you do these attacks in a certain order, you get special effects to go off, and I don't remember what the combos are anymore. And that's basically how you heal. And that was a heal. It says I'm underwater for some reason. Okay. I'm gonna die because I'm drowning on land. That's funny. Heal! Heal! There's one combo. You're meant for the sea. I should have done some research and looked up the combos before I started playing. Give myself a symbol of unity. So this is something that you use when you're in a group. It'll give everybody in the group one of these. I'm shocked it gave me one. I don't really need one. So if I die, since I'm the healer, somebody else in the party has one of these, they can right click on it and use it, and it'll res me. And then I can go around and res everybody else that's dead. And see, that had two different things that popped up on it. So some of it's combat chains. You get one part of the chain off, it'll switch